Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be making a delicious Spanish chicken casserole. It's going to be very, very, very good. It's got cooked chicken in it, and I'm primarily using things out of my pantry. I'm kind of out of money for the rest of the month, so I've got a lot of food on hand, and I'm just going to make do with what I have. So I've got some cooked chicken that I canned several months ago. This is chicken breast. It doesn't have any fat. It's all been canned, just regular old chicken breast. So we're gonna put that in there. It calls for a can of corn drained. I don't have any corn drained, but I did have some frozen whole corn. So I'm actually gonna cut this off the cob, and I'm gonna use that in replacing the canned corn. And then it also calls for a cup of taco sauce, and I don't have any taco sauce either. So this is you know what we have on hand. So I did can some salsa from my garden. This is all ingredients from my garden. I'm gonna mix some of this with a couple of teaspoons of this taco seasoning, and that's gonna be our taco sauce that we're gonna use. The other ingredients it calls for is 2 cups of cooked brown rice and a small can of chilies. Now I may have a can, but if I don't, that's okay. I've got some frozen chilies. I'll just dice those up. And 1 cup of shredded cheese. So let me go ahead and get started by cutting this corn off of these ears, and then we'll make our casserole. So I'm actually cutting the corn off of these ears while it's a little bit frozen. It just makes it a little bit easier to cut. So I think I'm going to use all 4 of these ears of corn, and that's going to be what we're going to use in our recipe. So let me get all of these cut up, and I think this will about equal a can of corn. I'll show you one more. I actually have a little bit of ice on it. These have been in my freezer quite a while. I got these, I think they were, I don't remember exactly. I think they were on sale. I got a really good deal on them. So I decided to buy several packages of them. And I really like doing that, because then, like in a situation like today where I really need something, I kind of go to my freezer or I go to my pantry, and I usually can find a lot of the things that I can substitute or use. So anyway, this is what I'm going to do with corn, and I'll show you the next step as soon as the rice is cooked. Well, one of the other ingredients I left out, not telling you, was it called for a can of diced tomatoes, not drained. So I don't have any diced tomatoes. I've got tomato sauce, and I've got, you know, all kinds of other things. I have fresh tomatoes, which I'm going to save for my salad, but I had a whole bag of frozen tomatoes from my garden last summer. So I'm defrosting some of those. I'm defrosting some of my ancho peppers that I had also frozen. I had taken all the skins off after I roasted them on the grill. And so I'm gonna chop those up, and I'm also gonna alter the recipe a little bit, and I'm gonna add a little bit of onion. So I decided I'm gonna saute some of those up because it did say not to drain the tomatoes. It'll make a little bit of sauce, and we're gonna put all of that together, and it's gonna make an amazing casserole. So let me finish. Sounds like the tomatoes are done defrosting. Now these are what my chilies look like after they've been frozen. All the skins are off, all the seeds are out, and basically all I'm gonna do is just chop these into little pieces, and I'm gonna put these in the pan with some onions and tomatoes. So these are gonna add a lot of flavor to this dish. I'm actually leaving some of them a little bit frozen. As you probably know, things are just easier to cut up when they're a little bit frozen. So I'm gonna dice these up nice and small. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with my tomatoes. Now, I've already got onions that are all diced up. As many of you know, I keep those in my refrigerator all the time. And so I'm gonna put in about, oh, that much. And I'm gonna add the peppers, or chilies, whatever you wanna call them, but they're basically an ancho pepper. And these will make the most flavor, in my opinion, of anything that you're adding to your casserole. I just think these are so good. I grow them every year, and I also buy them in the store whenever they're on sale, because like in this case, you can just, you know, take them out of the freezer, throw them into a pan, and then you've got, you know, something nice to work with. Now, these are some of those Roma tomatoes that I got out of my garden. They weren't very big, but they're really good. They're really flavorful. And I keep those and I use them in cooking all winter long. So right now we're in March. I'm getting actually ready to put some of my tomatoes out in the next couple of weeks. And I'm gonna start hardening those off to put in the garden. But you can see these are just great ways that you can save money on all kinds of things that you do by utilizing, if you have space in your backyard to garden or anything like that. I think you're really gonna be able to, you know, save a lot of money. And this, you know, it's not a lot of work. Really, the only thing that I bought was the corn. Well, I did buy the onion, but almost everything is stuff that I already had in my pantry. So this is gonna make a really delicious dinner. Actually, I'm probably gonna have it for lunch / dinner. And I'm gonna use up all these tomatoes, but let me show you what it looks like on the stove after I get this cooking up. So I'm just gonna mix these up. I'm not gonna add any salt at all, but I do always add a little bit of garlic powder because I love garlic. I use fresh garlic too, but in this I'm gonna use some garlic powder. And I'm also gonna put in a little bit of pepper, like so. And see how it's kind of letting some of these juices cook out? I think this is going to work out really good for, you know, having an undrained, you know, tomato. So I'm just going to let this cook for a little while. I don't want to cook it down to mush, but I do want to get a little bit of the juices released. And then I'll show you how I put it all together. The rice is almost finished. Okay, so I'm gonna put all this together. I think it's gonna come out really good. This is my canned chicken, great seal. And I'm actually gonna drain some of this liquid off. So this chicken is completely cooked. I put it in these cans raw. And at the end of the video, I'll link I'll put a link to how I cook this chicken, but all I'm gonna do is just kind of, you can see shredding it up. It just comes out perfect. It looks just like canned chicken. Only in my case, I know that the chicken has no preservatives. I didn't put any salt in it. It was just cooked in its own juices in the canner. And I mean, the other thing, makes a great chicken salad. If you ever try, you know, make a chicken salad at home, I put like walnuts and grapes and I put them on a little croissant. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Little pieces of apple. They're so good. So that's about the consistency that I want the chicken. Okay, to the chicken mixture, we're gonna add 2 cups of brown rice. And I just got done cooking it, so you can see the steam is still coming off that rice. And then you're gonna add your corn. So for me, My drained corn is actually corn that I cut off the cob. And these are gonna be yummy. I love corn. Now I know it's been frozen, but I kind of consider this fresh corn. And then I'm gonna add my mixture that I cooked up. Now these are the diced tomatoes, the diced chilies, and then I added some onion just because I love onion. And it made a little bit of juice that we're gonna add to this. Oh boy, that smells good with the taco seasoning in it. And then we're also gonna add some of this salsa. Again, this is salsa that I canned. I'm just gonna add, let me grab a spoon real quick. So I'm actually gonna put in about a cup of this salsa. I'm not gonna put in a lot of the liquid, but I do wanna add some of this salsa taste to it since I didn't have any taco sauce. And then I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Probably could have used a little bit bigger bowl to mix it. Oh my gosh, it smells wonderful, wonderful. Oh, this smells good. And then I'm going to put in half of my cheese. So it calls for a cup of shredded cheese. I'm gonna put in a half a cup right now. And then I'm gonna put a half a cup on top of it. So let me just add a half a cup of cheese. And this was cheese that I actually just took out of the freezer a little while ago. I realized I was out of cheese too. So again, see how things work if you just, you know, keep your pantry stocked. You're gonna have all the things you need to make, you know, dinners, lunches, breakfasts. And when you're having a time where maybe you know, you're short on grocery money or what have you, you're gonna be able to put a really nice dinner together. Hope you can see that okay. I'm gonna spray it with a little bit of Pam. Like so. And if you want to use olive oil or whatever you have on hand, I'm just going to put this casserole into my dish. Wow, this smells, it smells good. I mean, I can smell the cumin in the taco seasoning. I can smell the salsa, the chilies. It just smells great. So, and this will make several meals. So I'm gonna just kind of even it out here the best I can and add my half cup of cheese to the top. So let me just do that. I'm just gonna kind of measure it out. That looks good. I got half of it on my counter here, but this will work out great. So I'm just gonna shred this, put these shreds over the top. Just enough to make it taste really good, but you don't, again, I use a sharp cheddar, so because of that, I just don't have to use as much cheese. It's very flavorful. Just make sure your cheese is all over your casserole. You want to get a bite of cheese and everything. And there it is. It's ready to put in the oven. So this is actually how my casserole came out. It smells amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and plate up a little bit of this for lunch. I may have a little bit for dinner too, I don't know. But you can smell the chilies, all the salsa, the cheese on it. Oh, it just looks and smells great. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Oh, you have got to give this a try. It is delicious. I'm gonna eat my lunch Thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Hope you'll try this great recipe. Have a great day.